Um, yeah, thank you so much. I guess I'll call you Orange.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Is
That is what I go
Orange
by.
is good? Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for joining. So, I know you have a meeting, so we'll do a lightning round. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome.
All right. So, why don't you just tell me about Icon and how did it come to be?
Sorry, brother, I didn't catch that.
Why don't you tell me about Icon? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it. For sure. What do you want to know, my brother?
Like, how did it come to be, and what exactly do you guys do?
So, two separate answers for that. One, um, my co-founder Digi and I met on Solana on chain. I want to say like early 2021, like January, maybe like end of 2020 December, and we started becoming like pretty fast friends in a lot of the same overlapping communities. At the time, NFTs were sort of where community lived on Solana, and yeah, we made friends. He added me to this private Discord he had at the time, and it was kind of just like this thing that he was building for like homies to hang out in, and that was called Soul Street Traders. Never forget that. Um, we were in there hanging out for a while, adding friends, and then we started this thing called Homies DAO, which was essentially like this group of guys who were just supporting each other, making content and getting deal flow and pushing job opportunities to each other, et cetera, et cetera. I think we did that for about 3 or 4 months, and then a bunch of people in the community were like, "Hey, we should really like try and put some structure to this. There's a lot of opportunity in like trying to transform this and sort of move it from a collective into a top-down org." So, we hummed and hawed about that for a little while, and then we decided, fuck it, let's have a go. And that was probably like early spring 2021, and that's when Eyekon was born, really, and sort of been running it ever since. Services catalog has changed a little bit since then, but yeah, that's the origin story. 4 years strong. Very, very excited about it. Very excited to get up every day and work on it. But to answer the second question, so we're a full service marketing studio, 0 to 1. We help projects build brand equity, build brand awareness, construct go to market campaigns, construct UGC campaigns, and everything in between. If you need users or you need brand awareness, that's sort of our bread and butter.
That's really cool. And I mean, 4 years in crypto is like 200 years in normal life, right? I always go by we have our own version of dog years in crypto. Um, so like, what would you say is like your most popular feature?
Definitely, I would say UGC campaigns. So we manage about 45 content creators right now, and we use the label content creator very intentionally. They're not KOLs. They're not going to post the CA and pump your chart. We focus on managing and helping people who are focused on continually improving their content fidelity, the type of media they put out, serving their audience, and growing their personal brand. So, yeah, highest volume service by far is constructing UGC campaigns to attract users or build awareness on Twitter mainly, by leveraging that sort of stable of creators that we manage.
That's really cool. And like, I guess I'm gonna prioritize the questions here, but like, why do you think the Solana ecosystem is like more important than others? Or is that maybe I should rephrase that? Like, well, so no, sorry. Let's take two on this. How does the Solana ecosystem play a role in this?
How does the ecosystem play a role in this is a tricky question to answer. I think the perspective I'll answer it from is we have the most robust social layer of any ecosystem on Solana, right? And I think people make actionable decisions on Solana more than anywhere else based on social sentiment and the conversation on social media in general. And so, existing in a space like that where you can affect real change and real impact through sort of properly constructed timeline campaigns and media campaigns is obviously massive. We speak with a lot of people. We get these days a fair amount of deal flow, and We don't often branch out to ETH or really anywhere else. We work on Sui a bit. We've worked on Aptos a bit, say a couple of other blockchains, but yeah, Solana's where the social scene is, man. So if you're going to be focusing on social marketing, um, it's sort of the only place you can really cook with that.
I mean, I can confirm from my own personal experience. I always find like every time I go to these Solana events, they're always like well funded, and I'm having like multiple drinks, tons of food, something that would probably cost me like $100 if I were to bankroll my own night. And not to mention, there's like their super team had a yacht party, and I've been very vocal about hating them because what they normally do is they uh like they put in maybe double the amount of people that they should have on the boat, and you're just squished together for like 3 hours and you can't leave unless you really want to go for a swim. And what super team did had this cool old style like sailboat, and I would say they max capacity maybe 70% of what the boat could actually hold. So there was tons of room, tons of like place to like walk around and talk with different people. And for the first time, they convinced me that no, it is possible to have an awesome yacht party. So yeah, my experience with any and Solana has been nothing but positive.
Dude, I really like that take. Yeah, I mean, Lou's in the audience. Shout out Lou, one of my very best friends. I love him. We've been on a couple of yacht parties together that have been absolutely batshit, retarded, insane, fucked. You know, it's kind of a trope in this space, right? Like, oh no, another yacht party, someone's gonna die, something bad is gonna happen. And so yeah, I think it was super refreshing to be on the pirate ship in Lake Ontario, just straight posted with the fellas. Nobody's you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got fucking hammered on that boat, and I remember, I remember we were like in the middle of Lake Ontario. I'm like, Simon, bro, we need to get back to shore because I need to eat food. And he's like, dog, we have another hour of this, so maybe sit down. And I was like, oh fuck. And then me and Frisk got just drunk enough. We decided that it would be so funny to shoot a content series on the boat, and that turned out to be a nice little video that did pretty well. So yeah, no, I had a lot of fun on that boat. I think Super Team Canada consistently does really well with IRL social activation specifically. Like, not just Solana, Super Team Canada specifically has been knocking it out of the park for the last 14, yeah, like 14 months now. Every event is a banger. I haven't had a shitty event from Super Team Canada, and that makes me very proud.
Yes, and when you compare it to also other events, we have our own events and we try to have it well stocked with food and drinks. For those who don't know, we had a really kick-ass like developer event yesterday where we had some snacks, we had pizza, we had coffee and pop. We kept it non-alcoholic because it was sort of a
Oh,
professional event, but yeah, but Solana usually sets the bar. And we always look to them for inspiration for our events. And if we don't have those things like, oh, you have one drink maximum and here's some like chips, it's not a good night.
no, it's not, dude. All I'm gonna say is I've never seen a drink ticket at a fucking Super Team Canada event. You know what I'm saying? Bars open.
Yeah. And if you do, at least have like three.
At least three, dude. If you're not having three drinks in the function, I don't trust you. I'm sorry, bro. What? You're afraid to get a little loose? What's gonna slip out of your mouth? What are you scared of?
But what I am surprised is when we've had no drink tickets, there's like we can't get rid of the alcohol. They're like, I'll
Dude,
have a
yeah.
bubbly or a Coke. But like when you have drink tickets, they're just like, can I have a drink ticket? Can I have a drink ticket? Can I have a drink ticket?
Dude, I'll never forget. This is like not event related, but when me and Lou were in Amsterdam, I think it was like 2022 Breakpoint. We went to the Heineken Museum with a bunch of the homies, and all of our homies were sober, dude. Like we went with a group of like 10 people, and everyone was sober. Me and Lou are competitive beer consumers, right? So we get to the end of the tour, and they had like given everybody a couple of wooden casino chips to like exchange for beer. And everyone was like, "Oh, Orange Lou, you can just have mine." And we literally ended up with like 12 or 13 fucking free beers each. Absolutely hammered, stumbling out of the Heineken Museum. Spectacular time.
Why would you even go if you weren't gonna try the Heineken
That
beer?
was the funniest part, dude. We got to the end of the tour and we're like, wait, so nobody wants the 2 free beers included with admission, dude? This is what we paid for.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's the only reason I came. If they didn't include the beer and I was with you guys, I'd be like, you guys have fun. I'm gonna do something else.
Bro, dead ass. It's the
Like,
fucking beer museum.
oh god. So you know, going back to the questions I have for you, although this has been fun, but I know you're short on time. Um, do you think there's like a social media content that is underrated and is not widely used but should be widely used?
Like in Web3 or on Solana or just in general?
In general, from just your travel YouTuber to Web3.
Okay, in general, it's very difficult to say because I do feel like broadly in Web2, like every niche gets a little bit touched by the billions of people on Earth and then the millions of them who are making content. I will say, like in Web3, one of the things we're definitely lacking is structured short form marketing content on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And that's sort of evinced in the fact that anyone like Pump Fun, as an example, who's doing a tremendous job at chasing up that vertical, is reaping massive rewards, and no one is competing with them, right? And I think today, as a bigger company in Web3, to have someone that's managing those accounts, pushing out short form content with the intent of hitting sort of a wider algorithm that isn't necessarily Web3 native or isn't necessarily looking for Web3 native content on their alternative social media platforms is like massively valuable. And anyone who's not doing it is doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Like, because we're trying to grow ourselves, we have these spaces, but we're always, on the lookout for new techniques. Samir's much better at than I am, and I'm trying to improve. But I'm always learning a lot doing these spaces.
Dude, well, I think it's a bit of a difficult thing to approach if you're looking at it through like a Twitter marketing lens because it's so different, right? Like it is a completely different animal, and the type of content that hits is different. The way the algorithm works is different. But again, I do think like because it's so underexplored, the people who have done a strong job on it are absolutely killing it in terms of mindshare on these other social media applications. And there's a ton of sort of fruit that's right for the taking here. Like it doesn't take a lot to put someone on your socials and be like, hey, we need to be spitting out clips, um, and trying to figure out how we can grow this account and grow the breadth of our reach.
Yeah, those are all really good points, and I'm actually kind of writing this down. So, thank you for that. Um, and I guess what advice would you give for like a small account, somebody that has like 50 followers on their Twitter
Start
account, and they
schizo
just want to?
posting, bro. Like think funny shit that you think will get you canceled, then type it into your Twitter drafts and leave it for a couple hours and then revisit it. And if you think it will not get you in trouble, fire that bitch off immediately. Immediately. I think one of the things that we've been coming back to on Twitter that we lost a lot of in like 2021, 2022 is like authenticity on the timeline. A lot of people were like it was very hot to try and position yourself as like some fucking XYC Chad and all this other bullshit and like LARP aggressively on Twitter and like keep yourself buttoned up and all of these other things. But if you look at the people who are growing now and you look at the things they tweet, it's literally just like personal ramblings. It's a lot of funny jokes and it's a lot of shit posting. And so I think the best way to find your audience and grow is to just tweet what you want to tweet things that you think are funny, tweet things that you think are insightful, and be consistent is the biggest thing.
It helps that it's harder to get canceled on Twitter. I will say that than it used to be.
I've been towing the line aggressively for like a week and nothing bad has happened to me yet.
But it's not so much like you won't get banned, but like either people will support you or not care, and you'll get some people that will be offended. But then that's not really your audience anyways.
Yeah, I also think if you're like present in the IRL scene, like you can be a little bit more silly on Twitter because people know sort of what the content of your character is, and can sort of separate an individual from like an online brand. I learned this from Lou. I'm happy he's here because Lou is like, again, someone who I love a lot. His Twitter persona, I would say, like represents a piece of him very well. But like Lou is not the exact same IRL as he is on Twitter, and some of the things he tweets, people are like, "Holy shit, that's crazy." That that's wild. But they do really well, and it doesn't change people's perception of him because we know him, and Lou fucking rocks. You know what I mean? And I think I get a lot of goodwill from that too, because I'm just a goofy guy. You know what I mean? And I think it's okay to just be a goofy guy on Twitter. And I think, in fact, it's advantageous to be a goofy guy on Twitter.
Yeah, it's sort of like an outlet too, and I guess because you're not in person, so it's easier to say those things.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I think that's another aspect for sure. But I think it's important to like not. I don't think you want to create like a dichotomy of like tweeting insane things and then people like bring it up to you in person. You're like, oh no, right? Like you have to embody those things and be like, yeah, wasn't that shit funny? And if someone doesn't like it, fuck them, bro. Like you're not doing anything wrong. I think you need to stand on your principles and keep doing what you think you should be doing. Like one of the biggest lessons I've learned in Twitter account growth in the last year is not to repeat myself or sound like a broken record, but that authenticity like is more valuable than anything. Consistency is the only thing that's more valuable than that. And consistency and being authentic, I think, is the recipe.
I mean, yeah, I often find one of the telling signs of a project that is dying or is dead is if they just stopped posting or like they go from like every day to like once a month.
Yeah, it obliterates your account, dude. Listen, I'm guilty of that very much. And Digi, my co-founder, sitting in this space, like he could co-sign. I used to be very inconsistent with Twitter. I would like pick it up, be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go crazy for the next couple weeks," and 3 days in, I'm like, I can't come up with any more tweets. I hate this. I have BD work to do. Fuck this. And then I would give it up. But part of the challenge that I was facing then was I was trying to come up with like highbrow, insightful tweets instead of just tweeting shit that I think is fucking hilarious and tweeting shit that is like very easily digestible and not caring as much about people's perception of how intelligent I am or how insightful I am or like how basally valuable I am to the ecosystem. Like the market, the I say the market, but obviously not the financial market. Like the social market on Solana is going to decide that for themselves, right? CT is going to decide for themselves based on your authentic output of media, how valuable you are to the general social scene and to each individual who comes upon a piece of your content. So yeah, I think that's the sauce.
The world has enough insightful people anyways, right? Plus I'm not
Real
very
as fuck,
insightful.
dude.
I'm not, well, I'm definitely not going to post anything that's going to change someone's life.
That's how I feel. Except I will make them laugh, and that
Yeah,
sometimes changes someone's day.
but no one, I can't see someone like I got a raise because Matthew tweeted something inspiring. It's not
Dude,
going to happen.
no, I know, dude. Like I listen, and no, not knocking anyone's game, but when I see tweets that are like, "This is how you can make yourself more hireable," I'm like, "Hey, man, why don't you go get a job? How about that?"
That's why I don't like LinkedIn because it's all that.
Dude, me and Simon were discussing LinkedIn not too long ago. I think it's speaking of LinkedIn, dude, everyone's moving over there. It's looking like we're gonna have to start competing on a fourth social platform.
Ugh. It's all about like my job is better than yours. Here's why, and here's why you should have some sort of treadmill desk to not die at 50.
Bro, literally, I'm embarrassed to put anything on my LinkedIn because the only people on my LinkedIn are like my family, friends, and like the guys who I worked with during my first co-op placement. And like, bro, now I'm just gonna be throwing Web3 shit everywhere. Hey, look at me. Let me drag my nuts across LinkedIn. Like, it just feels weird, bro. I don't like it.
Plus, it's all suits, and like, when was the last? I haven't worn a suit in forever.
Dude, I'm anti-suit, bro. Like, I'm really, really anti-suit. I don't give a fuck. Everybody who knows, anyone who's at the Super Team Canada offices knows exactly how relaxed I pull up. I hardly ever wear closed-toed footwear. Like, I don't know. I think let your execution speak for you. That's one of the tenets of this space. It's been that way since the day I joined, right? Like, um, there's no pretensions and there's no expectation. Like, you just do what you're gonna do, and if people value it, they'll respect you more. And if they don't, they won't. But showing up in a suit certainly won't buy you any goodwill.
And it's uncomfortable and expensive to dry clean.
Bro, and you can't. I don't know how the guys 2 generations before us were walking around Bay Street in a 3-piece suit, bro. I can't even fucking get to the office in a hoodie without breaking a sweat. Impossible.
Yeah,
Impossible.
it's what, July, and you're 30 degrees and you're walking around in a suit. And
Ridiculous.
I have to wear one in a couple weeks, and I like found it, and thank God it still fits me. But I'm just like, because I would have had to buy a whole new suit for one event. Uh, and
Just went
you
through that
know,
for a funeral.
I can't rent the suit either because I'm going abroad, so I would have literally had to drop like $600.
Yeah, fuck.
So thank God it still fits.
I would literally first show up in like swim trunks and a towel, then a suit. And like that's on everything.
Maybe I should have done that and see what happens. I would have made the news.
Dude, definitely would have made the news. Definitely would have been at least something to to talk about.
That would have given Toronto Dow some publicity.
1,000,000%, dude. You know what? Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it for you guys, and we could just make a fun little. I'm just gonna be like, oh, it's toga day today. You guys didn't hear? Fucking idiots.
That's yeah. I'm down. If we have a Toronto Dow, their next Toronto Dow event, please feel free to come in a toga or a
Deal.
bathtub, a towel.
Expect
I
me to
will.
appear looking ridiculous.
I will guarantee no one will ask you to leave or kick you out.
Dude, if someone kicked me out, I'd be very sad. You know, it made me so upset.
So I guess one more thing I want to ask, because you said you had to go in a couple of minutes, but there was a tweet that I saw that I kind of liked. You said when one of our creators wins, you all win. Like, what did you mean? What does Eyekon mean by that?
Very simple, right? Eyekon creators share a pool of mind share, right? And when one of the creators who's associated to the brand does something notable or creates a piece of media that achieves virality in some sense or gets a new job that's notable and impressive, it is the rising tide that lifts all ships, right? And it helps to reflect positively on the brand that links us all, which means that everyone's achievements can help contribute to a greater community, and they have a community that can help contribute to them achieving greater things. And that's like a very core principle of why we built Eyekon the way we did and why we sort of pushed the central Eyekon brand more than most other management studios or anything of that sort.
That's awesome, because like I felt like that was such a very community building tweet, and I don't know why, but it really resonated with me when it posted it. So I had to ask that.
Dude, I really appreciate that, man. We look at the studio like a community. Like, obviously, there's no assets. There's no, I don't know. There's no like formal on-chain signifier, I guess, that it's some sort of community, but it's a community of people who are trying to create content and better themselves as creators every day. And yeah, the idea is you're able to contribute and you're able to extract value in equal measure, and everybody just gets to benefit from each other's shared experiences and achievements.
Awesome. But yeah, you said you had to go. So we did a quick lightning round. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of talk. We could have talked a lot more about like people going to events sober and staying sober and having a boring time. So yeah, I hope to see you at our next Toronto event in a toga or a bathrobe, or not bathrobe, towel. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This has been the weekly Toronto Dow Twitter space. My name is Matthew. I'd like to thank Samir, who is hosting from the Toronto Dow
Shut up, big
account.
Samir.
And make sure to, for those of you who are new, make sure to follow us and follow Eyekon. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. I love you, all you cute little Eyekon faces I see in the below me.